This video is all about helping you to determine, are you screwing up your life because you're too stuck in your head? And yeah, the answer is probably yes, you are. But congratulations for even asking the question. That's huge. I am Brent Phillips. I am the founder and creator of the Awakening Dynamic System of Energy Healing and Higher Consciousness. And I'm here today with video number 4 in our series on Movement Feedback Holography. And I want to focus on, what does it mean to be in your head? Show you, how do you determine, are you stuck in your head? Is it in fact screwing up your life? The answer is probably yes if you're watching this, just so you know. But most importantly, what can we do about it? How do you get out of your head back into your body, reconnected with the flow of life, the quantum field, the divine? Good question, huh? It would be something like this. I remember back when I was single, I took a whole bunch of different dating and relationship-oriented seminars and trainings. I did some of the spiritual stuff. I did the whole soulmate program at Agape, which was like this 8-week thing. You write your soul journal and send out a soul call. Cool stuff. I was also doing pickup seminars, learning how to dress better, learning what lounges and clubs to go to and what angle to approach a woman at, all this kind of stuff. And it was really interesting. In the first dating seminar I went to, there was a guy in the group who, if you looked at him, you'd wonder why he was having trouble. He was big, he was good looking, he had a job, he had a pretty good sense of style, he had nice clothes, he had a pretty warm, friendly personality. And if you saw him from afar, you'd be like, I don't get it. This guy should have women chasing him down the street. But here's the thing. If you went up close to him and talked to him, you would instantly know what the problem was. It was this: he had terrible body odor. And a lot of people can't really notice or smell their own body odor. And nobody ever told him. He had no idea. And it wasn't until he went to this dating seminar that I was in, I remember hearing it. One of the coaches pulled him outside and said, dude, you stink. Do not come back to this room until you go back to your house or hotel, take a shower, change your shirt. And he was a little pissed, but he did. And when we went out that night, oh my God, I think he got like a dozen phone numbers and set up half a dozen dates. It was like magic. And why am I telling you this? Well, it may be that your version of the body odor is being stuck in your mind. Why? It's unlikely a lot of people have ever told you, because most people can't recognize it. But being in your head can really, really screw up your life. It did mine. When I came out of college and grad school, I thought I was going to be king of the world. I was an elite, world-class hotshot software engineer. I had developed a networking technology that allowed us to do things that had seemed absolutely impossible just a year or two before, including a whole new style of multiplayer games I innovated. Today they're called MOGs, or massively multiplayer online role-playing games. The first one was built by my technology, and yet I was a huge failure. I lost millions of dollars twice. I was betrayed by my best friend. I never made money. All my investments tanked. All my relationships turned to crap. It was a nightmare. And no one told me why. I had no idea. But I was just like that guy who couldn't get a date because he had body odor. There was just one little thing that had to be changed. All the other ingredients were there. The reason I'm saying this is I think you may be just like me. You may have all the elements for success. You're probably intelligent, hardworking, talented, at least somewhat diligent and disciplined. My guess is, if you're like me and you're stuck in your head, you may make a living, but you're never going to make a killing. That's one of the ways we know that we're stuck in our heads. You'll always find a way to get by through a lot of hard work, a lot of struggle, a lot of sacrifice, but you'll never make that big breakthrough. You'll always be struggling and hustling at some level in life until we get you out of your head. So let me pause here for a second. I would love to hear from you in the comments. I would love to do a quick self-assessment right now for everybody watching this video. Let us know in the comments below, on a scale of 1 to 10, how deep in your head do you think you are? Where 10 means you're this horrible world-class head case like I was, and a 0 means, what man, I'm so in my body, I don't even want to answer, right? Most of you were probably watching this somewhere between 6 and 9. If you're really bad, maybe you're a 10 like me, but don't worry, we have the answer. We have the technology. We can rebuild you stronger, faster, etc., right? with some apologies to the $6 million man for those that recognize the reference to the 70s TV show. Awesome, cool. So let's get back to it. So how do we know if you're in your head? One is you've struggled and struggled just to get by. So how do we know if you're in your head? One of the things we just mentioned is you may make a living, but you probably won't make a killing. Another is this. Have you ever created a lot of value with your work, with your sweat, with your talent, and had someone else get most of the benefits from it? That often happens when you're stuck in your head. Also, let me ask you this. Have you ever been really close to big success? Not just once, but maybe multiple times, and every time it slipped away from you? If so, yeah, you're probably stuck in your head. Being stuck in your head gives you bad luck, terrible luck, the worst luck. I'll give everyone right now an example of one of the many things that happened to me where I was so close to success, but it never quite clicked. In the late 90s, after I had the whole blow up with my partners, I ended up in control of the game company because no one else could run it. I was the only human on the planet that could keep this game running. And so I did. And I went to go find another publisher. And I did. And we negotiated $3 million in funding. It was a company in France. And we had the entire contract completely negotiated. And they had said to me, hey, Brent, we're going to fax this to you at some point. It'll be in the middle of the night for you, but please keep your fax machine on. Countersign it, send it back. We'll talk tomorrow and get going, get you the first check. And I was so excited. I actually set up my fax machine by my bed that night. And about 2 a.m, it rang. Hour later, 45-page fax comes through. I read it all, initialed it, signed it, sent it right back. I went to sleep thinking I had just secured $3 million of funding. My dream would come true. This is what happened. The next day I woke up, I went to my email. I got an email from my partner, who was also our attorney, and he said, hey, Brent, bad news. Literally, between the time they faxed you the contract and when you got it back to them, which took about 2 hours because of the limitations of international faxes, it was just really slow, and it was a big contract. They had convened an emergency meeting of their board of directors, fired the CEO, and eliminated their entire games division. And I'm like, what? We have a contract. Can't we sue them or something? He said, sure. But pursuing a lawsuit in a foreign country, let me know when you have a $250,000 retainer and we'll talk about it. And he advised me, let it go. And I had to. So that's just an example. What's your story? Have you been that close to success? If you want to, let me know in the comments, because this is what you need. So now let's talk about next steps. But first, let me say, please click like, click subscribe. I know every YouTuber says that it's super annoying, but it is really important. It's the only way YouTube knows that you like this and you want to be shown more. And it's how you tell me you want more of this. So click like, click subscribe. And if you've already done that, send this video to at least 2 people you think will like it. I'll even wait. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Next, I want to talk a little about what exactly does it mean to be in your head? Because here's the truth. For me in my life, there were a handful of people that did try to point it out to me. They go, hey, Brent, you're really in your head. Oh, my Brent, you really like to be in your head. Things like that. I'll tell you what, I was so clueless. I really thought it was a compliment. Why is that? I learned at MIT to worship the head. It's venerated almost like a god, that we are there paying homage to these people that are deeply in their heads. And so it became an unconscious thing for me. And I got so deep in my head, it absolutely ruined my life. So what does it mean to be in your head? This is what it means. It means your mind is automatically judging everything that happens based on the past and the future and injecting meaning into it, which makes you a prisoner, is like being a slave. So as an example, if I were to say, hey, you just won $10,000, you'd probably be happy. That's not wrong, but it's a head reaction. Why? The body, the soul, money's not that important. Plus, nothing really changed, right? Your life is exactly the same. But the head gives it meaning. Or the opposite. Oh, you just lost $10,000. Oh, that sucks. It's awful. Yeah, no, that's all the head. Nothing means anything. But when your head is giving so much meaning to everything that happens, you get trapped in it. And it's like a virtual reality that's so well done, you don't even realize you're in a virtual reality. It's creating a virtual hell on earth for you is what it's really doing. It's disconnecting you from the divine. Because the more we're giving meaning to what happens, the less we are present to it. Because here's the thing, all that meaning comes from the past and the future, not the present. As an example, let's say you're going on a date and I'm going out to meet a redheaded woman. And I'm like, wow, you're pretty, but you have red hair. And my mind goes, that means you're a cheater, because the last 2 girlfriends I had who were redheads both cheated on me. That's an example of it. Why? That's an unfair judgment, isn't it? I've never met this woman. I don't know if she's a cheater. She might be the most loyal and honest partner any human has ever had. But because I had those past experiences, my head butts in and dumps the emotion of the past into the present. And so it disconnects us from the present moment. It pushes us into the past and the future. And that's where all the fear is, all the anxiety, all the struggle. And this automatic putting meaning happens so quickly and so automatically that almost certainly you've never even thought about it before. Is think, well, of course, bad thing happens, you get angry or sad, good things happens, you get excited. No, that's all the head. Nothing means anything ultimately other than the meaning we give it. The trouble is the more meaning the head is giving to the present from the past and the future, the less we can actually experience the present. To use our silly example, if I assume that this woman I'm dating is going to be a cheater, she might become that. Not because she was, but because that's what I'm demanding of her. That's what happens when we live in the mind. Plus, you'll tend to struggle, you won't get ahead, you won't make a lot of money, you'll be really close to huge success and it all falls apart. Again, you'll probably make a living, but I don't think you'll make a killing. So what do we do about it? It's simple. The only thing I have ever found in my life that helps at all is movement. Now, I'm not saying there aren't other ways. It's just the hundreds of modalities and systems and things I've learned, none of them has an effective solution. Only movement can do it. And we're going to talk a little more later in this series about the quantum field and the way that when we get the consciousness back into our bodies through movement, it takes us out of our head and reconnects us to the divine flow. And then you become a more real version of you. Because this thing you're running in your head, that's not actually the real you. That's your idea of what the real you is. See the important distinction? I want to show you the real you, which can only be found through movement and inner work. You can't read it in a book. No one else can tell you what it is. You must feel it for yourself in your own body and mind. Make sense? Awesome. If you're interested to learn more about this, and even better, actually participate in some movement to experience this for yourself, awesome. Just check the description. We got links to my upcoming live Healathon webinar, which I do about 6 times a year, where I'm going to show you some real movement and train you into the quantum field and give you your own experience. So until then, trust me until you have your own experience. This really works. It's the only thing that can turn around the life of a head case like me. And I was really bad. I was so bad, especially after MIT, that my late mentor, Carl, confided in me like 10 years after I'd met him, right before he died. He said, Brent, I have to admit, when I first met you, you were stuck deeper in your head than anyone I had ever worked with. And I started doing this full time in the 1970s. So that's how bad this guy was. And I'm not the perfect example, but I've come so far. I would love to be your guide. I would love to help you get out of your head, into your body, be the real you, and experience the incredible rewards that come with being the real you. So check it out, give it a shot, have your own experience. That's all I got to say for right now. Brent Michael Phillips signing off, and I will see you soon for the next video in the series. Until then, please take care and namaste.